paradise. For the millions of locals and tourists who fill these streets every year, this city is sunshine, beaches, culture, and constant motion. The place people dream of visiting and even more, dream of calling home. But every fall, that picture changes fast.
Seen it more often in recent years, hurricanes getting more and more intense.
University of Miami scientists warn we'd better act soon or coastal cities and towns will slowly diminish.
The bedroom was full of water. The water reached through all the way up there, so.
From Little Havana to Hollywood to Miami Beach, South Florida streets are vanishing underwater from heavy rain, failing drainage systems, or rising sea levels. Dealing with flooding has become a reality for residents. We are on a mission to understand the impacts of what's being done to protect the magic city of Miami. This is Race Against Tide.
Hi. Okay. I bought it in '87, and I just bought a waterfront house, which had been a dream for me my whole life.
But his dreams have come at a cost. 81-year-old retired oceanographer and University of Miami professor John Lear wasn't surprised.
The flooding that we see in the neighborhood, which is affecting me on a regular basis, is something that I have seen coming for a very long time, because if you were to think of this as a disease, global warming would be the disease, and the flooding we see is a symptom of the disease.
He's one of the many residents dealing with yearly flooding fueled by aging infrastructure. And here, on this corner of 89th Street in Miami Shores, the culprit is clear.
This seawall, it hasn't been elevated in a century.
And every king tide, when sea level rises, water flows over, flooding the streets. John has been trying to get the county to raise the seawall for over 15 years. For 15 years, nothing has been done. These are videos he sent to Miami-Dade County during the 2025 king tide.
The seawall here, you can see the sargassum is being pumped over in this corner region into the street. So this is sargassum from the Sargasso Sea, actually from Africa. Yeah, the current is continuing past the Archbishop Wensky's residence. You can see the sargassum weed moving with the current. So this is continuing to flood towards North Bayshore, and I'm sure it's going into 88th Street as well by now. Well, when I first moved here, there was almost never water in the street. And so occasionally if you had a storm, if you had a hurricane or something, yes, you would expect that there'd be storm surge flooding. That's perfectly reasonable. However, as time has gone on, sea level has risen about 8 inches since I bought the house, and it's maybe closer to 10 now.
Just 10 miles away, another resident faces a similar reality.
Aquí, hasta aquí. Aquí ven, a ver más, porque hasta la rodilla. Es más, porque llega hasta aquí. Hasta aquí.
But for Miriam Velasquez, she doesn't have the option of just elevating a seawall. Her mobile home sits on low-lying ground, and the drainage system around her community can't keep up with the rising water during king tide season and storm season.
Yo viví con mis niñas aquí en este tráiler. Mis niñas eran chiquitas, ya la mayor tiene 35 y la más chiquita 30. Y ya esto se inundaba. Así que hace más, de mi conocimiento, hace más de 40 años que esto está así.
Te va a mojar, Flores, te va a mojar.
Eso que se pudiera arreglar es lo que es importante, porque eso afecta a las casas, afecta como los vecinos se afectan con esa agua que se estanca y es infecciosa. Que se pudiera arreglar eso, sí.
John and Miriam are a preview into a much bigger problem unfolding, raising the question, how widespread is this issue? In November 2025, the Miami Herald released an article revealing flooding blind spots. After analyzing a decade of flooding complaints of about 16,000 reports from over 12,000 locations, they found that flooding is more widespread than most maps or insurance zones suggest. With clusters of complaints appearing in areas labeled low risk, over 8,000 complaints were reported outside of the FEMA-designated flood zone. In fact, there is no public database to show where residential flooding happens. So what's driving all this flooding, and why is it getting worse? The answer is not so simple. South Florida is facing an unfortunate storm of perfect flooding conditions.
So Miami is a flat area. So because of that, it's very difficult to discharge, to drain the water. So whenever you want to minimize flooding, what you have to do is you have to evacuate the water as quickly as possible, right? Could be to a lake, to the sea, wherever. But in Miami, we live in a flat area, and the area is more or less at sea level.
These interventions are critical as sunny day flooding becomes routine, fueled by rising seas and king tides. According to Climate Central calculations, about 100,000 Miami-Dade homes could be impacted by just 2 feet of sea level rise, putting $8.7 billion in property value at risk. Durham leads many of the country's frontline defense against flooding. They raise roads, installed pump stations, and reinforce aging seawalls. Their work also includes beach renourishments, restoring mangroves, and sand dunes. In Miami-Dade County, a lot of responsibility to solve these issues fall on individual cities or villages. But what do these actions look like? Daniel Irwin is the senior director at the coastal and marine engineering firm Cummins Setterberg. She also serves as a longtime project manager for Bal Harbor's coastal management program, a role she's held for nearly a decade. Over the years, she's seen the flooding situation in Miami worsen firsthand.
The bottom line answer is yes, I'm seeing flooding all over Florida. I've been in this industry 25 years and we have more flooding. It's not always an issue of feet of flooding. Sometimes it's inches of flooding. And it's not always because you have low seawalls. Sometimes it's because we have our gravity-based stormwater management systems or outfalls that are having stormwater back up, basically tidal water back up into the outfall and flood a street. Nuisance flooding, sunny day flooding.
Irwin has been working with Bal Harbor to tackle flooding challenges through projects like beach renourishment, which involves adding sand to eroding beaches to help counteract the sea level rise and storm surge. It's these solutions John hopes will eventually reach his neighborhood. After sending videos to the County Durham officials, scheduled a walkthrough of his community to visit the out-of-date seawalls.
Well, it's very nice to do it, and it's nice of the county to organize this traveling group to go around and see various places where there are significant issues. And I appreciate being included on that list so that the awareness is more widespread. Now, awareness and action are two different things, and I'm very painfully aware of the distinctions.
Miami's flooding problem didn't happen overnight, and it won't be solved overnight either. From aging seawalls to overwhelmed drainage systems, from rising seas to rising groundwater, the challenges are complex, and they are growing, but so is the urgency. What happens next will shape the lives of millions who call South Florida home. This is the race against tide.